Welcome to Malaysia. I have made my way out of Kuala Lumpur by train and ferry. That landed me here in the city of Georgetown, which is the capital of Penang. I'm spending a few days here, getting to know this island a few kilometers off of the mainland. Georgetown was founded in 1786 as the first British settlement in Southeast Asia. There are influences from so many other countries here. The UNESCO organization says that leads to a unique architectural and cultural townscape. Let's see what they mean. I love Penang and Georgetown. Technically, Georgetown is the capital of Penang, which is a state and island off the northwest coast of the Malaysian peninsula. I'll use them interchangeably when talking about this place. This is an area of beauty and history and many cultures coming together. It is situated on the Strait of Malacca, which is a vital waterway connecting the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Georgetown is the hub of the second largest metropolitan area in Malaysia. This was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008. A big part of the melting pot that is Penang are those of Chinese heritage. That leads me to what was by far my favorite feature of the island. What you are seeing is known here as the clan jetties. When Chinese immigrants came to Penang, they built their homes and essentially their communities on stilts over the water. Each one belonged to an individual clan or family. It's one of the pure wonders of travel. Everywhere you go in the world, you'll find something that you've never seen before. And most often, it's not found in very many other places. In this city, that is this collection of clan jetties. Originally, there were 9 jetties, but today only 7 remain. There have been redevelopment pressures through the years and some efforts to remove the jetties and relocate their residents. The UNESCO designation in 2008 provides some protection, and it appears as though these communities will live on. They have now become tourist attractions. That's especially true in the case of the jetty, which is connected to the Chu clan. This is by far the most popular of the jetties, and I would say the most commercial and probably the least authentic. I would say this is the Disneyland version. If you come here and visit this place and don't go to any of the others, I would say you're doing yourself a disfavor. Don't take that as a criticism of those who live and work on the Chu jetty. They found a way to thrive in a world that is constantly changing. Traditionally, residents of these communities worked as boatmen or in the charcoal and firewood industries. One spot to note on Chu jetty is this artwork depicting a family scene. It is known as the Folklore by the Sea mural. Make sure to look for it if you ever visit. These jetties began taking shape in the midst of nearly 200 years of British colonial rule. The first to be established was the Chu jetty in the mid-19th century. It now has over 70 homes and around 600 residents. At least one of the communities was developed as recently as the 1960s. Sizes of the jetties vary, with some having as few as a couple dozen homes. There are temples scattered amongst the communities, as well as businesses that meet the needs of the residents. Immigrants began making their homes on stilts over the water to avoid the land taxes imposed by British colonizers. It is astonishing that some people still live in these circumstances all these years later. It is unknown how many people still call the jetties home. At the very end of the Yong jetty is the Hinbu Tin Temple. Of all the religious sites situated within these communities, this is maybe the largest and certainly the most vibrant. I had already visited 5 of the clan jetties and decided that that was enough. Then I saw this colorful temple from across the water and decided I had to see it up close. I am glad that I made it 6. The temple began as just a simple shrine on stilts in 1972. It has now grown into this 2-story structure. I have seen it referred to at times as the floating temple. It is amazing that this way of life has survived this long. I've read that the population of residents is aging and that young people grow up and move away. It's understandable, but it makes you wonder how long it will be before these structures are just monuments to a distant past. Away from the water is this temple and now museum and tourist attraction. It is Q Kong Si. This is the largest Chinese clan house in Malaysia. In the 19th century, this resembled a clan village. The original temple burned, and what is seen today was completed in 1906. Walking through the museum was fascinating and gave insights into the structure of this clan in particular and all clans in general. It's a special piece of history to discover while in Georgetown. There is so much more in Georgetown that is tied to the Chinese. This is the Penang Peranakan Mansion. It is a 19th century home and office of a Chinese tycoon. Now it serves as a museum. The goal is to show the lifestyle of the well-off back in the day, but also to provide information about Peranakan heritage. This building has been featured in numerous TV shows, including The Amazing Race. Chinese influence is not just seen on the jetties and in the museums. It is everywhere in Penang.
Google Maps identifies this area as Chinatown, although I find it difficult to discern between this and many other areas of the city. The Chinese presence and influence here is bold and pervasive.
There are as many as 3 areas within Georgetown that are referred to as Chinatown. Those 3 are Old, New, and the Chinese Trades Neighborhood. Sources say that as much as 45% of the population of Penang is of Chinese heritage. On the edge of one of those areas that is defined as a Chinatown is the Chaurasta Market. I'll describe this as a morning market as it opens at 6 a.m. and runs until mid-afternoon. It can provide a window into the daily lives of those who live in Georgetown. Vendors sell all sorts of items, and of course, there are many stalls where food can be purchased and eaten. This market dates to the late 19th century and is said to be the oldest one in Penang that still operates in its original location. I stopped into the China House one afternoon. It is a sprawling establishment that spans an entire block, measuring 400 feet from one end to the other. Opened in 2011, the complex fills 3 historic buildings with 14 different spaces.
This is a coffee house, bar, restaurant. It feels like an art house too, maybe even like a museum. There are tons of places to sit in here that are attractive and comfortable. I think the courtyard here, though, might be tops.
After I finished my drink, I checked out all of the other sections of the China House. It would be possible to spend the entire afternoon here, eating, drinking, reading, and viewing all of the artwork. Inside the narrow streets and alleys of Georgetown is this lively and popular avenue. It is named Armenian Street for the traders who lived along the road more than 200 years ago. This is a magnet for all who visit Penang.
Armenian Street seems to be the place to get started, not just in exploring the town, but in looking for the street art that adorns so many of the walls.
The street art scene in Georgetown is astonishing. It seems as though everywhere you look, there is more eye candy adorning the walls. Some say there are literally hundreds of scenes, both big and small, filling the city's core. The local tourism board commissioned a Ukrainian artist to create some murals. I don't know what they paid him, but they got a bargain. It inspired an explosion of color and creativity that blankets the townscape. The original artist's style was to paint figures interacting with their surroundings. That is best seen here at the piece known as Children on a Bicycle. The bike is real and the children are painted on the wall.
This piece is pretty spectacular. Not only is it 3D, it looks to be the most popular piece in town. There's always a line of people waiting to get their photos or videos here.
This piece gets a smile from everyone who sees it. Not all the street art consists of painting. These comic scenes are scattered around the city center as well. They are made of metal rods and depict characters within Georgetown, both real and imagined. For instance, I learned that world-famous shoe designer Jimmy Choo got his start as an apprentice in the city. A person could spend their entire visit to Penang searching for all 52 of these sculptures in the urban landscape. The street art is inspirational. One early morning, I found a couple of people already at work. They were placing on canvas ordinary scenes of buildings and their surroundings. Located just off of Armenian Street is Umbrella Alley. It's so refreshing to see how what was once just a plain passageway has been transformed. There are the colorful features above and even more creativity on the walls. Now this space attracts people all day long. Everyone gets into the act. This alley is beside a fire rescue station. Panels have been created showing all of the tasks that the employees there perform. Quite an effective little piece of marketing for the emergency workers. There is no shortage of attractions in Georgetown. Just look at these colonial-style administrative buildings. This one, with its sunshine yellow coloring, serves as Town Hall. It is the oldest municipal building in Penang, dating to the 1880s. 2 doors down is this brilliant white structure that is called City Hall. Yeah, I found it a little confusing as well. There is no mistake, though, that these are breathtaking examples of arresting architecture. They are both located on Esplanade Street. Just a few meters away from those structures is the Esplanade seawall. On top of that is a short walkway where people can stroll along the water. It faces the narrow channel between Penang Island and the Malaysian peninsula.
What an appealing place to be, and maybe especially so in the morning. No crowds, a bit of a breeze, and while it was raining earlier today, if you get here at the right time, you might just catch a sunrise.
I was able to confirm my assumption a day later. This is a wonderful place to take in the early morning sun. A part of Georgetown's defense system during colonial times is still a part of the landscape. This is Fort Cornwallis. It was constructed here on the east point of the island in the late 18th century by the British East India Company. Primarily, its mission was to protect against pirates. I spent about a half hour walking along the walls of the bastion, admiring the lighthouse, and exploring the grounds, at least a portion of the grounds.
It is an interesting site with a fascinating history, and I enjoyed spending a few moments here. I'm not quite sure if it was worth the price of admission today because about half of the place is closed for renovation. Once that's finished, I'd say come and explore.
Still, the cost of admission was less than $5. This is the largest standing fort in Malaysia. Only a 2-minute walk from the fort is the Queen Victoria Memorial Clock Tower. It was built to celebrate the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, commemorating 60 years on the throne. The Jubilee was in 1897, but the tower wasn't completed until 1902, 1 year after Queen Victoria's death. It stands at 30 meters, or just under 100 feet. One of the most prominent religious sites in the city is the Kapitan Keling Mosque. I found this to be an attractive site, but my camera was not allowed to go inside. It was built in the early days of the 19th century by Indian Muslim traders. Nearly half of the residents of Penang identify as Muslim. I also took time to experience the city's Goddess of Mercy temple. It is a colorful site with a fair amount of activity surrounding it on the morning I stopped by. This is a Buddhist structure with the location established in 1728. The complex is rumored to have magical qualities as it has survived attacks through the years, including bombardment and invasion by the Japanese during World War II. Just outside of the temple is a line of stalls selling flowers. Many of the shopkeepers spend their days making colorful garlands from the blooms. I challenge you not to stop for a moment if you encounter these vibrant kiosks. While there is a massive amount of Chinese influence and culture present in Penang, that's not the only ethnic group having an impact on the city. This is the Little India section of Georgetown. It includes all the shops and eateries that you would imagine filling such a space. Estimates are that just under 10% of the population on the island and in the state are of Indian heritage. It wouldn't be a tourist destination without the letters. I found one location with an I Love Penang sign. I wouldn't doubt that there are others. This one is in a nice little green space that is called Friendship Park. I found it appealing early one morning. Penang is known for the jetties and for its street art. It's also famous for the food scene. There are so many restaurants and street vendors, it would take a lifetime to try them all. I wandered through as the Kimberley Street Night Market was coming to life one evening.
There are lots of food stalls situated on the street. It is easy to tell which are the most popular because of the long lines that are waiting for the food. Are they the best? I have no way of knowing. But this one does have a Michelin designation from this year.
In general, I've found the street food of Malaysia to be of high quality and full of flavor. One stop I made was at the Sriwell Food Court. This is a place where people can find all sorts of tastes. I sought out hokan prawn mee, which is a traditional dish featuring shrimp and noodles.
This is one of the dishes for which Penang is known. I am in a food court that is in the heart of the central business district, so there's a mixture of tourists and locals who are just here on their lunch break. It's a great combination.
Of course, Malaysian meals can be found here, but plates of food from other countries are available too. My mission in Penang was to discover the flavors of the region. In this lovely restaurant, I found one of them. My order was for duck egg char kway teow.
The distinctive feature of the dish, and its reference in the name, is the use of flat rice noodles. This has shrimp and sausage, and it reminds me quite a bit of the pad thai that you get in Thailand.
The noodles, shrimp, and sausage develop a smoky flavor as the dish is cooked quickly over high heat. This has become popular through Malaysia and additionally in Singapore. An uncommonly good treat was found at this spot. Penang Road laksa is well known beyond the island. Laksa is the term for a noodle bowl smothered by an assorted broth. Here, that broth is a fishy concoction featuring tamarind.
It is such a good bowl of food. It seems to hit all the right notes. There's a little sweetness, there's some heat, and then there's enough of a sour flavor to make it interesting.
The Penang Road laksa has been recognized as being exceptional by the Michelin organization. I'm told that they use 3 different types of fish to create the broth. I had never heard of white coffee before. Flat white, sure, but not what I got here. As part of my initiative to grow beyond my normal cappuccino order, I gave it a try. Immediately, I was counted as a fan.
Remember the bulletproof coffee that was such a craze a few years back? Well, this is a bit similar to that. The coffee beans are roasted with margarine, and then the drink is made with sweetened condensed milk. It's a concoction that was created in the nearby city of Ipoh.
This is not some new fad, such as that bulletproof coffee I mentioned. Ipoh coffee has been around since the 1800s. In my ongoing quest to find unique flavors of ice cream, I stepped into this attractive shop. I got 2 scoops, one that was totally new and another that was familiar, but with a twist.
There's watermelon lychee, which uses a Southeast Asia fruit, and then there's Mediterranean sea salt, which I've had before, but it is colored blue by the butterfly pea flower, which grows locally.
I thought the watermelon lychee was just okay. My favorite of the 2 by far was the Mediterranean sea salt. The brilliant blue color played a big part in that. It was simple to get from my base in Kuala Lumpur to Georgetown. I took a train to get to the town of Butterworth, which sits on the water. That trip can take anywhere from 3.5 to 4 hours, but it's a scenic ride. The final leg is by a ferry. That takes only 15 minutes or so to cross the narrow channel, and boats run constantly through the day. The terminal is connected to the train station. Penang is one of the most popular places for people who are visiting Malaysia. Rightfully so. I think that 2 or 3 nights provides plenty of time to see what Georgetown is all about and experience all of what it offers.
This was a fantastic way to begin my time in Malaysia. So many cultures coming together to create a lively and vibrant atmosphere. Now that I'm here, I wish that I had planned to stay longer. I'm departing soon, however, to return to my base in Kuala Lumpur and continue exploring what else this country offers. There are more videos to come in the weeks ahead. Make Old Alone and Far From Home a frequent stop to be sure you catch it all.